back to the grind this morning. We're in here in Winterset, Iowa. Just had to stop at the hardware store, grab some Torx bits. Seems like I can never keep track of those things. But heading down to meet a lady this morning. She's got some ground down by Afton. Has 80 acres and looking at trying to sell off 40 of it. She's wanting to sell off the back 40, which would make access a little difficult. So we're gonna go down, look at the property, and basically give our opinion on how we would recommend splitting it up. Should be fun. So we got that this morning, and then we got another appointment a little later, probably mid-morning, maybe early afternoon, actually, depending on how the day goes. But get another appointment to meet a guy, similar situation. He's got 80 acres, looking to maybe sell off 30 of it. So same thing, gonna go in there and give him our opinion on what it's worth and how we would break it up. See if we can get that one on the market as well. This must, well, I think that's the neighbors. Bet that thing holds some deer. Well, I drove past and kind of went down just to see what I could see from that end. It does look like, I'm getting the bearings here. I can see it's kind of steep, almost right here by the driveway.
Yep.
But then up on that other end, it seems like it's a little more gradual, where if someone wanted to put a driveway or something in, and then by the looks of it, these trees here that don't have any leaves on them, that kind of that crest, if somebody were going to build, that would be, I would think, the ideal spot. They'd have to get a dozer in there and do some clearing.
See, what I'm thinking of selling is back behind here.
It's back this direction.
Yes.
Yeah, it was the 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an extra 40 back here behind.
Yeah. I've got
and I don't have a problem with giving them an easement for a driveway, you know, or using the driveway. I don't have a problem with that at all.
If you were to sell a little bit of frontage, then you could, somebody that buy it, whether they would ever do it or not, just having the option to potentially build.
Right.
Like I say, a lot of people look at that and they say, well, I don't ever want to build on it, but the next person down the line or the next person after that may want to. That's going to bring the value of the whole thing up quite a bit. Now, I'll probably need to walk in there to get a better look at it and make sure that there's no ditches or anything that would cause problems. But
there shouldn't be. We planted all those trees in
there.
you did? Yeah, everything except the cedars. Yeah, we had it in CRP. I think we planted it in 2001 or 2002.
Really?
Yeah.
It's not still in, is it?
No, it's out. It came out in
15, 16?
15, 16, something like that.
Okay.
There's a lot of walnut. There's a lot of shagbark hickory, oak, swamp oak. Like I said, it's great hunting ground if somebody wants to hunt it. Step-grandson, he got a huge buck out of here last year.
Oh, really? But if you don't mind, I think what we'll do is I'd like to walk back in there and kind of see what that looks like.
Go for it.
If you've got time, I don't want to take the whole day up, but
go for it.
We'll take a look around and then maybe
I'm going to let you walk it. I'm not walking with you.
That's fine. Well, we're standing out here on this little 40-acre tract we come to look at this morning. Just talked to the owner quick and kind of got a rundown of what she's hoping to do with it. You can see how thick it is. There's some old CRP ground that was actually in a tree planting up on the east end of this place, and then everything else they just pretty much let grow up native. A lot of the things that you want to look at, you know, as we look at this as a piece of property to sell, we try to think of it from the buyer's perspective. Obviously, we take a lot of what the seller's goals and motivations are into consideration as well, but we're looking at it from a buyer's perspective, because if we can create the ideal scenario for a buyer, that's going to maximize the value for the seller. And as we looked at this and originally talked about it, the main road is on the east end here. That's where her home is. So her driveway comes in, and this is a 40-acre block. And then there's another 40-acre block. She has 80 total. And what she was hoping to do was sell this 40-acre chunk that's back here, kind of setting off the road a good ways. The only downside of that, you know, from a buyer's perspective, is the access is going to be pretty minimal. You're going to have to create your own road. You could potentially get an easement to share this driveway, but you'd still need to put some kind of roadway to get back into here. So what I would propose on this scenario, and whether or not she's open to it, is actually selling more of like a 5 to 10 acre chunk up here, so that you're not only selling this to someone who would use it strictly for recreation, but also someone who might be looking at a building spot, because you would have plenty of road frontage, access to power and water. You wouldn't have to run your road or utilities as far, and then you have all of this ground in the back here for recreational value. So that's how she's going to maximize value out of the farm and get the most for it. But that's usually our goal when we come into a place, is look at what's the highest and best use and what's going to maximize the value. And right now, just looking at it, I think it's going to make a lot more sense and increase the value quite a bit more if we can include some ground up there. It's pretty nice and level. There's a little bit of an incline to get up to that spot, but it's pretty nice and level. And from that hilltop, if you were to bring in a dozer, you'd have a phenomenal view for a cabin or a house, overlooking all the timber and farm ground around here. So we just came back on this, be the west 40 on this farm. And you can tell it is super thick back in here. Cedars, Osage orange, a lot of old locusts. I don't think anybody's done anything with this farm in a long time. It's got a ton of potential. You could open this place up and put some killer food plots tucked in tight in here. But as it stands, I mean, it is a phenomenal bedding area and travel corridor. There's an enormous, like, just rutted down trail coming right through here with good rub and scrape right here behind us, and then it's following right up this ditch line. We're kind of standing right on the edge of this transition. There's a ditch and then super thick cedars and a little bit of an open patch, and it's like the deer just, it's like a highway right through here. We finally just popped out all these cedars here. We're almost to the southwest corner of this place now. There's an old terrace that comes around. By looking at it on a map, we could kind of see there's almost a boomerang shaped open area where some cedars had started filling in. It looked like they must have farmed this in the past, and by the looks of it, with that terrace being there, this would be a phenomenal spot. It's on the west end of this 40, backs up to this pasture on, I'd say, 2 sides. You got grain to the north where you've got row crop. This right here, this big level top part of this ridge, if somebody came in with a dozer, cleared this out, you know, I guess you could do a couple different things. Obviously food plots is the first thing I was thinking. You could probably get 5, maybe 8 acres of standing corn or beans in here. And with the north wind, you'd have good access down the south fence line. North wind would be blowing your scent out over that pasture. And same thing on the other side with the south wind, of course. Man, that is some thick cover back in there. Well, head back up here, talk to the landowner. She just lives right here in this house. Go check in and see what her thoughts are, kind of give her our opinion on what we think it might be worth and how we would recommend selling it, get the most out of it. You know, cedar branches all down my shirt. I think we're on our hands and knees a couple different times trying to get through those cedars. Well, we just left the client's house there and ended up getting that farm listed, so got the drone up and did some pictures while we were here. It's a gorgeous day for it. But ended up going with 50 acres, so it's going to be a 40-acre piece on the west side back behind the house, and then selling 10 acres with it up front where you've got some road frontage and building potential. That's really going to give her the most value out of the property and honestly provide the most opportunity for anybody buying it. So I think we'll get some serious interest in it. It's properties like that, there's just not very many of them on the market. So it's about 12 o'clock now. Gonna try and head over to this other farm we've got to take a look at. It's that 80-acre piece just south of Earlham. So 80 acres south of Earlham, and the guy's he's really just wanting to sell off like the east 30 acres of it. So gonna go take a look at that one, kind of give him our thoughts. Same scenario, just give him our thoughts on what it's worth and see if he's interested in putting it on the market or if he wants to hold off a little bit longer. So north and south, and he thinks everything from that ditch east kind of goes together. But what he said was draw a line straight north, and that's like 35 acres. But he thinks it's 30. And then try and track
I'd find
him
it
down.
hard to believe that that ditch wouldn't run through those trees, you know? Is that where it is?
Right where these trees are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's right in the middle. It's probably like right down here.
Huh.
But I think it would be better, like if I were gonna buy this, I would want all the way out to the edge of the trees.
Yeah.
Because I would want to hunt all those edges. So here's about a mile. Well, this doesn't go straight through. So we're half a mile, 1, 2. So you're 2.5 miles off pavement. But pretty much from that tree line to this ditch line and then down to the back 40 line. So it'd be roughly 30 to 35 acres, kind of what he's looking at. I kind of want to check out that CRP and just see what that corner looks like for deer sign. And get a look at how deep that creek is, if there's any way to cross
like
it.
that,
It's a river, North River.
yeah.
So I kind of want to see, like, you know, is there some fishing potential? Get a stand up one of these trees. This is kind of like rough like that. So the front of your house would have to be like up on top, or you'd have to move all this dirt out and put some kind of berm up there to keep the erosion down. I mean, it'd be a cool setup, house overlooking the river.
Yeah.
You got crop field down below. There'd be a lot of people that would want this. Shows up. Well, we just got through walking that farm over there in Madison County. The thing is really rolling. It's pretty country though. It's got a beautiful spot for a home overlooking that bottom. It's I can't remember the name of the river now. What the heck was it? The North River, I think is what it's called. But we're heading now to meet the guy that owns it. We're going to talk with him. I know he has kind of an idea in his mind on what he wants to try and get out of the farm and how he wants to break it up. So we just had to get out there and get our boots on the ground to kind of confirm how it lays out. And it looks like everything I was assuming from the map seemed to be pretty accurate. So buildable spot within 45 minutes of Des Moines. I'm guessing it's going to be in that $7,000 to $8,000 an acre range, and it's got a little bit of income on it and some hunting. So for 30 acres, there's a lot of people looking for ground like that right now. It's just really hard to find. Interest rates the way they are, there's so many people looking and can actually afford it with the good interest rates. So should be a pretty high demand piece. We'll go over here and talk with him, see how that conversation goes, see if we can get it listed for him and help him get it sold. Shane Spikes may work with me.
How you
doing? You guys got a pretty big operation here, it looks like. Are we okay over there? Are we out of the way?
Yeah, you're okay there.
Okay. Well, we had a pretty jam-packed day. Ended up getting that farm listed down there in Union County, and walked this other one up here in Afton, and just met with the owner. Went pretty well. I think we're pretty well aligned on what we need to do, and so we went ahead and dropped off the listing agreement. He's got to review it with the partners and make sure everybody's on board, but fingers crossed we should have that one listed here in the next few days, right around time for Christmas. So, but right now we are running on fumes, about empty on gas again. So it seems like a reoccurring theme. Pretty good day all in all. Try and get a little more work cranked out, and then I think we're gonna head back to Missouri for Christmas to visit some family, and it should be a good time.